Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
It's the season finale of Season 3 of Ozicar Formula Ford. This season we've been all around Japan to small club tracks like Tsukuba, to Fuji International Speedway, and this our second trip to Okayama International Circuit, but this time on the short layout. Again, should be very, very interesting in a category that's always been super competitive, a little slipstream dependent, but a car that looks great fun to drive with a short wheelbase, a little bit of an overgrown go-kart, and it's been good racing in Ozicar. And with it being the final round, the championship is on the line, and that's one thing we're going to keep ourselves across of through all of the racing tonight. Thank you for joining us on Simspeed TV. David Haynes here with Jason Fewens, Jay Kennedy with the graphics, pictures, replay, all of the goodness. Jason, our second time to Okayama.
Yeah, round 6. We were back here at the start, the opening of the season, all those, 12 weeks ago, but it doesn't seem that long ago, to be honest. It's flown by pretty quick, this circuit, this season, and to come back and finish at this circuit's quite apt, and really looking forward to the racing that's going to be provided tonight, with close racing, like you said. That run down the main straight is probably our biggest opportunity to get a pass done under brakes, but it all comes down to how well you get out of that aptly named last corner to get that run down onto the final stretch.
It'll be interesting to see where the overtaking opportunities are around this short layout. Turn 1, probably a great chance. Obviously an odd little connecting section there around turn 2 as you take the short layout, a little different to what you normally do. But then it brings you back around into the part of the track that most of our drivers will be familiar with. A little back straight there into the twin linked hairpins heading back uphill, and then quick descending through turn 6. The final corner, deceptive, as it's also got a little bit of anti-camber in it, still a little bit of elevation change happening, and you can tell the circuit gets just a little bit wider, sort of 2-3 meters wider on the exit of the final corner. You've got to use all of that to carry your momentum onto the pit straight and start it all again, defending, attacking, whatever, through turn 1. This is the championship. 5 rounds completed. Stuart Vaughan leads the way, 413 points from Jacob Wallmeyer, Brodie Shepherd, Sean Doyle, and Dennis Hancock as our top 5. We're getting ready for racing. The final round of Ozicar Formula Ford Season 3. Drivers on the grid, 20-minute race number 1, and it gets underway in some slightly overcast conditions at Okayama.
Yeah, it looks like everybody's got a relatively clean start. There's not too much carnage. Wasn't a lot of wheel spin as the lights went green. Everybody makes their way down into that tricky first corner, and without putting the jinx on anybody, looks like they're all pretty well behaved as they make their way through that switchback section for the first time on lap number 1 already. Stuart Vaughan taking control of the racing. Lights went green. James Chasanoff off the front row as well, falling back in line second. Adrian Duke sitting in third.
Leading from the front's definitely been familiar for Stuart Vaughan so far this season, but on a short layout like this, only a couple of places to differentiate himself from rivals in a car that is a slipstream machine. We'll see how he fares around Okayama short. There's the pit entry just there off of turn 6, this being a 20-minute race. I'm guessing they're going to have to make a stop, and with one lap already completed, they do fly by here on the short layout. James Chastanoff keeping the pressure on. Jacob Wallmeyer there in 5th. A good result for him here. He's not mathematically out of it at the moment. He's looking down the inside of Brody Shepherd into turn number 1, again proving that the corner at the end of the longest straight, always a guaranteed chance at overtaking, and with 3 right-handers to follow it, maybe he can complete this pass.
Yeah, look like Jacob getting the job done there in the 444 car, moves himself up into 4th place, so we'll jump on board now. I think it is with Sean Doyle, a little bit further back in the field, but he's got Aaron Friend just in front of him as they make their way through Hobbs Corner. Can't believe we're already on our the last sector of lap number 2, and they are flying around here pretty quickly, one diving into the pits already.
Feels a little bit like oval racing that way, and we've got our classic Okayama pit entry, but it's the second time this season that they've all been here, hopefully. They know that it's the yellow cones you must obey. And so a few drivers working their way through the pit lane. Dennis Hancock, Warren Henry, Benjamin Wheeler, the 3 on the lane at the moment for the 60km/h drive through the lane. The history behind that being this is a championship that used to have a compulsory tyre change, but there was so much random variation in the tyre changing times, plus or minus 6 seconds, that it really meant, with how close the racing is, how close the cars race, whoever lucked into the best pit stop won the race, and that's just not cricket. So it's now a drive-through, still with that element of strategy. Do you go early? Do you go late? But without so much of the luck choosing the winner, it's more on the drivers, more on the strategy. A couple more through the lane here as well. We're going to get Aaron Friend, and he's not going to be alone. That's what friends are for. Stuart Vaughan stays out in the lead, followed by James Chastanoff. I think if you're in the slipstream of Stuart Vaughan, that's a place you want to stay.
Yeah, definitely. Chastity was away for the last round we were at 2 weeks ago, so he makes his return this week and is fitted right back in, obviously qualifying off the front row. I'm sitting pretty comfortably behind Stuart Vaughan at the moment. Looks like the top 3 have made a little bit of a break, and Jacob Wallmeyer is just trying his best to claw onto the back of this little leading group as they make their way back through Hobbs Corner again. Stuart Vaughan looks like he's well and truly in control. We've got this by the hook, by the reins, as he makes his way down through Mike Knight into the last corner and ready to complete lap number 4.
See that track opening up on the exit of the final corner. A lot more room to come across to the inside, try to attack, try to defend towards turn 1, but it's not what James Chastanoff is doing, as he sits just 0.2 of a second behind the race leader. Adrian Duke still with them in 3rd, and of course, of all the cars that have pitted, Aaron Friend is the highest placed at the moment. Duke, using that slipstream, picks up the fastest lap of the race as Jordan Dakin is going to run through the pit lane. This group of cars you see, they were all cars that have stopped already, and they're led by Friend at the moment.
Looks like Sean Doyle there.
Miles got wide doors on the attack.
Yeah, plenty of pressure on his teammate in through turn number 1, running a little bit wide there. Doyle not quite able to capitalise on the mistake by his teammate in front, but has latched onto the back tailpipe and will be putting as much pressure as he can without obviously causing any car contact.
Different lines in the short connecting bit of straight between the 2 hairpins, and all going past pit entry there. Here's the leaders, Vaughan, Chastanoff, all over him right now. Adrian Duke with another fastest lap as he closes in on the leaders, using just a little bit of slipstream, getting some clean and uninhibited lines as well. That's how Formula Fords tend to happen. Other cars that haven't stopped here, Jacob Wallmeyer in 4th, and then Brody Shepherd with Nathan Verney and John Snell. And then you've just got Ira Felberg and Darren Lesueur that haven't stopped. Everyone behind that has already at this point, seeing a pit lane time of about 18 seconds. So despite the slow pit lane, it's certainly no Spa endurance pits here.
So just quick Simspeed replay here. Brody Shepherd getting a little bit loose in the back end on the double right-hander through turns 2 and 3. So that would have just cooked his tyres a little bit, and that just allowed the group behind to latch onto the back of him. Was expecting him to dive through pit lane and just give those tyres a bit of a cool down, but he's decided to circulate for another lap.
Here's the race lead, James Chastanoff, getting a little bit aggressive because there's some heat forming on him. He can't wait forever as Adrian Duke begins to join the fight. Lap 7 of 20. So this will be a 20-lap race at the end when it's all said and done. Rear looking very, very loose for James Chastanoff. It's a H-pattern car. You can get your downshifts wrong, lock up the rear axle a little bit, or you can also use that to help you rotate the car into the corner. There goes your top 3, and Jacob Wallmeyer's not too far away, but he hasn't been able to close in. Your top 3 is still about 0.3 of a second per lap quicker at the moment.
You can see Jacob in the background there in that distinctive blue car. He hasn't got a draft buddy at the moment, so he's a little bit in no man's land while the 3 cars in front are using the... Oh, sorry, 2 cars ahead of him are using the draft of Stuart Vaughan out in the lead at the moment. Adrian Duke...
He's got a fastest lap button, but the fastest lap of the race belongs to Adrian Duke with a 44.540. Then it's Stuart Vaughan with a 54.545. Then James Chastanoff with a 54.548. All of them within 0.008 of a second on their best laps, but it's Adrian Duke by 0.005 of a second who has the fastest lap of the race at the moment.
Yeah, great minds think alike. You took the words out of my mouth. I was just going to highlight Adrian Duke still retaining the fastest lap there by the smallest of margins, but back on track, Nathan Verney and Brody Shepherd having a good little battle at the moment. Shepherd leading the way and Verney using the curbs to get a little bit of rotation in the car.
And there's a look at the Japanese weather. Reasonable humidity, not a lot of wind. 18 in the air, 28 on the track at the moment. Really what that affects is how long the tyre warm-up is for these cars. They're a very road construction, slightly treaded slick, and they do not have tyre warmers, so it does take a little bit off the start of every race, and we have typically 2 or 3 races to a round. Every single time off the race start, you've got to be a little careful as you warm the tyres up. How long that takes can depend not only on the type of track, the type of surface, but also on the surface temperature. There for the pit lane goes Stuart Vaughan from the lead, but James Chastanoff and Adrian Duke don't follow. I think they had a chance if their plan was go with him. So how quick's the pit entry on board here with Stuart Vaughan attacking towards the yellow cones and then to 60 kilometers an hour for his run through the lane. This right now has got to be James Chastanoff's lap of his life.
Yeah, almost a textbook pit entry there from Stuart Vaughan, leaving his pit entry very, very late and potentially catching James Chastanoff off guard. Like you said, ideally you would have expected him and Adrian Duke to follow Stuart Vaughan into pit lane as Darren Lasue comes in to complete his transit as well. But I suspect these 2 cars on screen and even Jacob Wallmeyer in the background just might commit to their transit through pit lane right now at the halfway point of the race just to cover off Stuart Vaughan.
You really got 2 options, don't you? You either pit now, react and rejoin near enough to him and try to fight him on track, or you do what they're doing and you try to go long and hope that maybe Stuart Vaughan gets into some traffic. And you know what? That's not an impossible idea. Vaughan's rejoined in 7th place, only a couple seconds behind John Snell, who hasn't pitted, and then a couple seconds up towards Brody Shepherd and Nathan Verney, who haven't pitted. Not sure he's going to catch Verney and Shepherd before they pit. So the only car he might have to worry about is John Snell, potentially.
So, our effective race leader just having a bit of a moment there through turn number 1, but he's back. Welcome back, Stuart. Sliding his way through turns 2 and 3 there. The car looks pretty settled mid-corner, and the change of direction again looking pretty good. So, he's definitely got his rhythm back and carrying good lap times. And the leaders look like they're going to go in and circulate for another lap.
The top of the screen, championship leader Stuart Vaughan having made his pit stop. Bottom of the picture, cars carrying on in the race lead, James Chastanoff and Adrian Duke. If they can work together, or if Chastanoff can find some speed that Vaughan didn't have, there's a chance for them to take a win away from him. Gets in a second when we see Vaughan cross the start finish line. We can make a lap time comparison. So the lap was completed for James Chastanoff, 54.6 for Stuart Vaughan, 57.7 comes to a 54.4. So 0.2 quicker in that clean air, having stopped for Stuart Vaughan. There's some of your last lap comparison.
Yeah, just as Stuart Vaughan was coming out of the last corner, our leaders of the race were heading through turn number 1. So even though he's conducted that transit time down through pit lane, he's still got that length of the main straight at race speed. So he's definitely closing that gap a little bit. So the 2 cars out in front on track at the moment might find themselves a little bit of trouble once they come out of pit exit.
That's the super important number at the moment, 15.6 seconds, and you can see it on the left-hand side of the screen as well as Vaughan gets past John Snell, because John Snell opts to pit. So no traffic woes for Stuart Vaughan either. That is what could have been the thorn in his side, will not be, as John Snell takes the pit lane transit. Only 5 cars yet to do that now. James Chastanoff, Adrian Duke, Jacob Warmeyer, Brody Shepherd, and Nathan Verney. Back to the leaders, and Duke, boy, has he looked patient. But they are going to have to get a hurry on eventually, because Stuart Vaughan has the fastest lap of the race. James Chastanoff has a little bit of a slide. Adrian Duke crosses one side to the other. What now be evaluating is James Chastanoff going as fast as I can, and I think that this run to pit lane means the answer is no.
Yeah, probably a pretty good call there from Adrian Duke. I think James is just holding him up a little bit, and he's decided to get out of that draft and conduct his compulsory pit stop. So it will be truly telling time as he exits pit lane here. Just keep an eye on the cars coming around the last corner, and you just might see Stuart Vaughan. I think that might have been him there. So pretty close as Adrian Duke comes out of pit lane right now, and our leader crosses the start-finish line at full noise, side by side down into turn 1.
To be able to make that one shot round the outside goes Stuart Vaughan to be ahead of Adrian Duke, but I tell you what, not bad from Duke here. He backs out of it, maybe thinking about where James Chastanoff is, what James Chastanoff is doing, rather than fighting side by side off a pit exit for too many corners against Stuart Vaughan. So decent decision, decent run through pit lane for Adrian Duke there as well, to rejoin and not have Stuart Vaughan be way off.
Calculating James Chastanoff, I think he come across a lap car of Jordan Dakin on that last lap as well, so there is potential there for a little bit of traffic to play part in our race leaders' little battle. But at the moment we have Stuart Vaughan leading, as he has done, effectively the first car on track that has pitted, leading the way, and Adrian Duke sitting comfortably, using that draft again to his benefit to try and reel onto the back.
When you look at a battle like this, how it's back and forth, 1/10 in Stuart Vaughan's favour, 1/10 in James Chastanoff's favour, you understand why 10-second random variation in pit lane times absolutely ruins racing like this, and a great decision from Ozicar to move in the direction that they did with the Ozicar Formula Ford Championship. Still, give us that strategy, but really leave it all in the hands of the judgment and skill of the drivers.
The top 4 cars on track.
Duke again?
Sorry?
Duke with a black flag, was he speeding on pit exit? Is that why he rejoined so close to Stuart Vaughan? He's through the pit lane for a second time. Hopes of a win dashed for Adrian Duke.
Yeah, he will be livid with himself, potentially throwing away a great opportunity there. Looks like he might even be willing to park it up in frustration as he makes his way into pit lane and comes to a stop.
I've heard some stuff about the black flags being weird on iRacing lately, where sometimes the message says, like, pit penalty when it means drive through, and the language isn't necessarily always clear for road course penalties.
So we have 3 cars on track at the moment as Brody Shepherd comes into pit lane, and that makes it 2 cars that are yet to pit. So Brody diving into the pits to complete his compulsory pit stop. Quick Ozicar.net replay to explain what happened on his in-lap.
And the pit stop follows this, locking up on the way into the hairpin, half spinning it around, losing just a little bit of time to that. Chastanoff, the only driver that hasn't been through pit lane yet, coming back out onto the track, comes Brody Shepherd. How about the white line on pit exit as well? If you blend too early, I think you get a black flag penalty as well. Noticing a couple drivers getting a little bit close to that, because the closer you get, the more you open up turn 1, the more speed you can carry off the pit exit. The fastest line is all the way up against the white line, but you cannot cross it. There's that pit exit line and the blue cone with the blue line denoting, hey, this is enforced, this is the rules.
So on lap 18 of 20, the laps have gone by super quick with such a short circuit here tonight for race number 1. James Chastanoff has led this one from about the halfway mark when our effective race leader made his compulsory pit stop. So with only a lap and a half to go, or 2 laps to go, I'd expect James Chastanoff to complete his compulsory pit stop potentially this lap. We'll find out the next couple of seconds. And he dives into the pits right on cue.
Getting word as well that the penalty for Adrian Duke was he started speeding up before he crossed the green cones at pit exit. 68 kilometers an hour when he should have been doing 60. I think that's about $150 and 1 demerit point these days.
So Stuart Vaughan coming underneath the bridge onto the main straight as James Chastanoff passes the green cones. Hopefully he doesn't give himself a pit lane penalty by getting a little bit eager on the right foot. It looks like Stuart Vaughan well and truly has that one covered off as he dives around on the racing line through turn number 1.
For just a second there with our top and bottom pictures, if you cross your eyes you can watch in 3D. 54.3, what a stunning lap from Stuart Vaughan coming into his element at this key point in the race, but he has James Chastanoff just there, 6/10 behind.
Right, a lap and a bit to go. Jacob Wallmeyer sitting in P3 pretty comfortably as well, his second championship, so Adrian Duke's little error has given him a little bit of a freebie and another handful of points which will well and truly be needed.
About to take the white flag, one more lap of Okayama short for the opening race of Ozicar Formula Ford's final round of the championship. James Chastanoff, is it do or die, or does he await? He starts to close up in the slipstream into turn 1. He gets in so hot, there's almost a little bit of contact, trying to unsettle Stuart Vaughan, but you're running out of other places to pass. Maybe on the braking into the hairpin, maybe a dive to the inside here potentially. Chastanoff is going to keep the pressure on all the way to the checkered flag.
Yeah, Chastanoff not in the championship hunt this season after missing around. Big dive under brakes. Stuart Vaughan has everything to lose. They get hooked up and they make their way off the circuit.
Our leaders are both off the road at the hairpin, rejoining ahead. Stuart Vaughan back into the lead, and I suspect maybe just letting that happen, James Chastanoff. But drama that they didn't need on the final lap. Stuart Vaughan back in front, James Chastanoff back on the road, Jacob Wallmeyer a little bit too far back. Oh, there's more drama in the final corner. The checkered flag is out. Stuart Vaughan's going to win from James Chastanoff. Looks like Jordan Dakin's looped it around in the final corner before he got to the checkered flag. Wallmeyer completes the podium. Aaron Friend, good pit stop strategy to get fourth. Nathan Verney in fifth. A couple of cars we're still waiting to see are Benjamin Wheeler and John Snell and Adrian Duke and Ira Felberg. This is where Duke has come back. He's gotten one spot on Ira Felberg on the last lap here, and he, I guess, could be forgiven for kicking himself a little bit after that one.
Yeah, drag race down to the line. Adrian Duke, I guess, a checkered flag, and Ira Felberg follows across the line to complete race number 1. As does
Darren Lesueur, I think, as the last car.
Yeah, I think
Jordan
so.
Dakin with the spin ended up one lap down. Looking at the results from race 1, Stuart Vaughan, 7/10 from James Chastanoff. What a dramatic final lap they had. Jacob Wallmeyer in third, consistency paying off for him. Aaron Friend, Nathan Verney, Dennis Hancock, Brodie Shepherd, Ben Miles, Warren Henry, and Ben Wheeler, the top 10. Then in 11th, John Snell. We've got Adrian Duke, Ira Felberg, Darren Lesueur, last car on the lead lap. Jordan Dakin spinning around in the final corner, and then the leaders went through, put him a lap down. Sean Doyle, 4 laps down. So, final round of Season 3 for Ozicar Formula Ford. And we have something to look forward to, a schedule to show you for Season 4, beginning in January, and again live here on Simspeed TV. That's a nice little European tour going on. Circuit de Spa-Francorchamps in Belgium, Red Bull Ring, Austria, Monza combined in Italy, Motorland Aragon in Spain, Brands Hatch in the UK, and Rudskogen in Norway. All the usual places, Aussiecar.net, and also on the iRacing League and anywhere else you can get a hold of Ira Felberg. Join us for next season of Ozicar Formula Ford. We're not done with everything from Season 3, though. I believe we might be about to watch a video. So, it was one of the prizes for this championship. Someone was going to be randomly drawn to win a real-world Formula Ford driving experience at Sydney Motorsport Park, and it's gonna be Sean Doyle, who will be driving a Formula Ford at Sydney Motorsport Park. He's been a long-time Aussie car competitor. We know his mum loves to tune in as well, and I'm sure he'll be very, very delighted to hear about that. Never saying that again. So we've had previous champions, previous lucky draw winners as well do that Formula Ford experience. I think it's... who's our friend on... that never stops talking about it from Locked On Lads?
I don't know where you're going with this. What, not Wilco?
Yeah, I think Wilco did it, and he keeps going on about it. He very, very much enjoyed it by all accounts.
Yep.
So we'll, I guess, wait for a school excursion report on that one from Sean Doyle when he gets the opportunity to travel to Sydney Motorsports Park and experience Formula Ford driving at that beautiful venue. Race 2, not too far away, and just a look there that it's also going to be a 20-lap race with the grid being how we finished race number 1 and with the same compulsory drive-through strategy. It means we're probably going to see Adrian Duke fighting his way back through the field, and it puts Stuart Vaughan in the perfect place to see this season out and claim a championship in perfect form. Stick with us because that's all coming up here next on Simspeed TV.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
We're back with you, drivers, now gridding for the final race of the season, and it's the same as how they finished race number 1. We rolled into race number 2. Stuart Vaughan and James Chastanoff can lock horns once again. Jacob Woolmeyer, a nice second row start alongside Aaron Freund. Nathan Verney and Dennis Hancock, the next row, and then Brodie Shepherd, Ben Miles, Warren Henry and Ben Wheeler, John Snell 11th, and Adrian Duke, who showed so much pace, held the fastest lap for a bit, starting back there in 12th. Then the Ira Felberg, Darren Massue, Jordan Dakin and Sean Doyle behind him. Sean Doyle starting from the very, very back of the grid, but I suspect he'll still have a smile on his face. They're ready to go now. Starting procedure underway, board displayed to the drivers, lights about to go out for 20 more laps of Okayama to see out Ozicar Formula Ford, and the green flag waves. Your pole sitter Stuart Vaughan off to the great start that he's got every single time. It's Aaron Freund not getting away particularly well, and you see Dennis Hancock switching one way, switching the other, seeing if he can get past. The drivers have got to remember they're on cold tyres once again.
Yeah, Nathan Verney probably getting one of the better starts out of the group there, just battling 4th and 5th on track at the moment as we see a big beat of smoke, and that's Aaron Freund facing the wrong way, and potentially Ira Felberg going out in the weeds as well on the change of direction from the early part of the circuit to the late part of the circuit.
I wonder if he asked his mum before he invited a friend around. Oh, drama on the floor. The driver who started fourth on the grid, now at the very tail of the field. Oh, we've got more spinning drama and other drivers heading towards pit entry. Jordan Dakin potentially, again, having a little bit of a spin. Watching Dennis Hancock into the pit lane. I don't think he'll be alone in trying to get this compulsory transit out of the way, but he slows down and mega slow before the yellow cones, almost getting drilled from behind by Adrian Duke, who wants to get this pit stop done cleanly.
So it is a slow trundle down pit lane, and Adrian Duke will be pretty careful not to hit that accelerator button until now that he's cleared the green cone. This looks like Darren Lassoud is letting Aaron Friend back through after his spin on that corner one lap ago.
A bit of off the road there for Ira Thalberg, with Friend and Lassoud bearing down on him. His friend looking to the inside as left-handed hairpin. But of course the road switches back to the right, so you've got to get all the way clear to be confident of making the pass. He's still got to leave a little bit of space for Ira. Should get a better run from that wide line and be able to chop back down from the fast right-hander leading into the final corner. Friend making a move or two. Pit lane getting a little busy again for Warren Henry.
So back up the front, it is where we left off in race number one. James Chastanoff in P2 using the slipstream to secure the fastest lap of the race here on lap 3 of 20. These two cars on screen have picked up exactly where they left off, battling, and that went right down to the wire with contact on this particular corner on the last lap. But this time around, they follow each other through in suit, single file.
Shepherd gets past Nathan Verney, Ben Miles watching on, so now Verney finds himself sandwiched between the Vermilion Motorsport cars. Only a couple of drivers opting to pit early. I think we're going to see more cars run deeper into the race in the second one.
I'm saying that John Snell in the 23 decides to dive into pit lane, looks rather cautious, and as he hits the yellow cone, is required to be at 60 k's an hour to make his pit lane transit.
But at the lead,
for the lead,
James Chastanoff gets his nose in front inside of turn one, comes back across Stuart Vaughan to block him out in the switchback into the left. Jacob Wallmeyer's got a perfect view as he gets up to speed behind the leaders. This second or third spot behind the race leader, a great place to get a little bit of slipstream. An attack from Stuart Vaughan. Chastanoff will try to hold firm around the outside, take the inside for the tighter right-hander here, and Jacob Wallmeyer says, I might get involved here. Anyone going to go for pit lane? It wouldn't have surprised me. Wallmeyer got out of it, but there's contact between second and third. Vaughan gathers it up. Jacob Wallmeyer keeps the car facing the right way. Wallmeyer wanted to get into this battle, but Vaughan wasn't expecting it.
Wallmeyer got the slipstream down the straight, pulls to the inside for turn number one, and just rolls out of it with the Stuart Vaughan carrying a bit more mid-corner speed, taking the traditional racing line through, but Wallmeyer connected to that rear axle of Stuart Vaughan as they make their way through the switchbacks again. So plenty of pressure being applied by our second place sitter in the championship.
Look at this here.
Replay.
Vaughan around the outside comes back down onto the line that Wallmeyer was hoping to keep the inside through the right-handers to close out the lap. A little bit of wheel-to-wheel, face-to-face contact. I think they managed to mostly get away with that one. It slowed up the leaders just a little bit. Brody Shepherd able to catch them just slightly, still a couple seconds away from getting into the slipstream. Here's a battle of some cars that have pitted. Warren Henry, Adrian Duke, Dennis Hancock. Duke's early pit stop strategy hasn't gotten him the clean air that he'd like.
Yeah, showed really good pace in race number one and getting a little bit balked at the moment, tripping over some traffic, but Warren Henry in the car 67 there as well. So we focus back on the lead, and this is race positions 1, 2 and 3 on track. Chastanoff, Stuart Vaughan and Jacob Wallmeyer still battling for bragging rights up the pointy end of the field at the moment.
Lead of James Chastanoff from Stuart Vaughan from Jacob Wallmeyer. them yet to pit. Still just lap 6, early running. Stuart Vaughan went middle of the race in race 1. Maybe on track for that again this time. All the drivers crossing the start-finish line, new lap times come in. And Stuart Vaughan fancies an attack down the inside to go back for the race lead. He has the fastest lap of the race as well. That looks like a tidy move. Inside of turn 1 means he's got the inside for 2 and 3 here. And out wide, almost hung out to dry. James Chastanoff is going to look for a switchback here. Jacob Wallmeyer trying to run with him as well. There's almost a little bit of contact. Can we get 3 wide for the race lead through the infield? You betcha we can have a go. James Chastanoff not shy of getting down the inside. No traction, offline. Saves the car. Stuart Vaughan drops back to 3rd.
Yeah, Jacob Wallmeyer following James Chastanoff through all that inside line, and of course the Stuart Vaughan getting a little bit loosey-goosey out on the marbles and the sand through the infield section there. Dropping back just about 0.3 of a second, so we'll definitely have slipstream as they make their way down the main straight to complete lap number 7. And of course, if the 2 leaders battle it in through turn number 1, I'd expect to see Vaughan right on the rear axles of Chastanoff into turn 2.
Wallmeyer tries to take the lead. Chastanoff looking for a little bit of a switch back into 2 and 3, side by side for the race lead still, with Vaughan sitting in 3rd. Brody Shepherd's getting closer as the leaders battle once again. Chastanoff holding on to the lead. Wallmeyer now on the back. Vaughan gets to the inside of him, heading towards the hairpin left-hander, heading them back up the hill. So from 3rd to the lead, back to 3rd for Jacob Wallmeyer. Good for James Chastanoff as well, but also looking good for your drivers in 4th and 5th place. Brody Shepherd and Nathan Verney working together, or at least not attacking each other, closing up to the leaders.
James Chastanoff just a little bit loose on, a little bit wide on the run onto the main straight. Just might make it a little bit vulnerable going into the braking zone as Stuart Vaughan has a look, but Chastanoff looking like he has enough to hold off at the moment. Deep under brakes into turn 1, manages to pull it up quite comfortably.
Inconsistently, Stuart Vaughan will not go for an apex at turn 2 to be a wider entry into turn 3 and try to get a good drive off of the switchback to allow him to attack here. That's top of your screen. Bottom of your screen is the battle between Sean Doyle, Dennis Hancock, Jordan Dakin, Warren Henry. Dakin the only one that hasn't stopped yet in that group. The others have cleared their stops in race number 2.
Plenty of on-track action all around the circuit at the moment. Good little battle packs forming everywhere. You can just see 4th and 5th on the track doing their best to work together to catch these guys leading this one. Stuart Vaughan looks like he's going to go through and reclaim the lead of the race after dropping back to 3rd a couple of laps ago.
Action everywhere. Jordan Dakin and Warren Henry tangled wheels. Will they tangle wheels as they battle for the race lead? Vaughan trying to get back to the race lead, but holding strong around the outside of 3 corners. James Chastanoff then takes the inside of the left-hander. Vaughan's got a better run, and Jacob Wallmeyer is trying to pick and choose his line to try to make any advantage out of this. Vaughan still with a claim to the inside of the right-hander. That's where more of the grip is, looking to cut back over-under, straightening up the exit. James Chastanoff, still no pit callers from our top 5. Brody Shepherd will be licking his lips, watching the kind of battling that Vaughan, Chastanoff and Wallmeyer are having. Brody Shepherd's come from 3.5 seconds away from the race lead to 1.5 seconds away from the race lead. Just 0.2 of a second from starting to pick up some slipstream off our race leaders, and they're going to go side by side once again. Chastanoff to the inside. Vaughan gets a lack of grip, gets another one of those little slides offline in the dirty part of the racetrack. He thought he'd find more grip out there than he did. Same thing happens again through these next corners. Wallmeyer in once again, and it's looking forward, looking back, and it puts Stuart Vaughan on some awkward lines, costs him some momentum. Wallmeyer's down the inside for 2nd place here once again. Disappears, reappears. You don't like to race like that. Vaughan's been guilty of that with his ISP a little bit as well. And Brody Shepherd, choo-choo, he's on the train.
Yeah.
Now he's not
saying that. He dives into pit lane and decides he doesn't want to get a part of the little battle in front. He's going to take this opportunity to conduct his pit lane transit and hopefully gain some time while the cars in front continue this little battle ongoing. Looks like a reasonably good entry into pit lane without any brake lockup, so that looks pretty safe.
Leaves Nathan Verney a little bit naked further away from the leaders than he would have liked. He was probably enjoying riding Brody Shepherd's coattails up towards this exciting lead battle to see out the Ozicar Formula Ford season. Elsewhere, Ben Miles, others seeing where Brody Shepherd rejoins, still leading of the cars that have stopped. Ben Miles was the highest placed car to have cleared that, and Adrian Duke was next. So Duke still making some progress through this field. No room to be found between James Chastanoff's gearbox and Stuart Vaughan's nose right now.
Yeah, Jacob Woolmeyer just, what is he, sitting about 3/10 off the back of Stuart Vaughan as well. So while the two leaders are battling, I don't know whether Woolmeyer might have dropped a wheel off or made a little bit of a mistake. But into the braking zone, into turn one, he's going to find himself right on the back of these two again as they go side by side with Vaughan for the switch back to be on the inside for turn number 2.
Vaughan's switch back almost works, but Chastanoff is so brave. They nearly make wheel-to-wheel contact once again. Chastanoff has a slide. Jacob Woolmeyer is the driver with the most speed. He goes middle of the road. We're 3 wide for the race lead. Chastanoff to the extreme outside. Vaughan to the extreme outside finds no grip out there, but getting sandwiched, Woolmeyer has to back out, back to single file after briefly being 3 wide. 8 laps to go, and it looks like our leaders are hanging it out long in this stint.
They look like they can go around to complete another circuit of the track, but we have lost Verney as well. So he was on the back of that group there not long ago. We'll have a quick look at the replay and just find out exactly what happened to the 282. They're getting a bit of a brake lock-up into the turn number 8, I think it was, and the car spun around, losing a significant amount of time on his in-lap before he made his way down pit lane.
Alberg through the lane, most drivers have. The only that haven't are top 3, plus Aaron Friend, plus Darren Lesueur. So these 3 drivers yet to make that compulsory drive-through as part of the strategy component of these rounds of Ozicar Formula Ford. Just Vaughan, Woolmeyer, all of them staying on the track once again. Big slide, saving it. I believe in these parts they call that drifto for James Chastanoff.
6 laps to go as they cross the finish line here in race number 2 for the season 3 finale of Ozicar Formula Ford Series. And Stuart Vaughan getting his nose in front on the exit of turn number 1. Woolmeyer is going to follow him through, try and take advantage of it, but James Chastanoff holding it around the outside and it retains second place as we've seen these guys battle and fight for position through that corner for, I think, the last 14 laps.
Definitely been very, very spicy with the leaders. Their last time on track for this season, and they're enjoying the wheel-to-wheel battling. And very, very clear signal from Stuart Vaughan. I'm heading for pit entry. James Chastanoff follows him. Jacob Woolmeyer follows him. And we have a train on pit entry heading towards the commitment cones, and they concertina up and they get mighty, mighty close on board with our leading 3. No penalties on the entry, no penalties on the entry, and look at that, all in line. Vaughan, Chastanoff, Woolmeyer with their run through the pit lane. Vaughan will of course be able to get on the power first, crossing the green exit cones, then Chastanoff. Penalties or anything with the pit exit, but we're looking at a replay here. Doyle and Verney, and Doyle gets underneath Verney's crash structure on the way through one and ends up spinning around. 2 cars haven't been through pit lane. Aaron Friend and Darren Lesueur, the 3 race leaders, have, but look who's with them after all of that. Brody Shepherd's early stop really hasn't hurt him that much at all. He's back with a chance of the race win with 4 laps to go.
Yeah, in fact, I think he's actually closer than what he was when he dove into pit lane. So this really is a 4-way battle for the lead at the moment. And it looks like Aaron Friend is the next car on track yet to pit. And he will be the car that the leaders will be fast approaching with 4 laps to go.
And a battle on between Adrian Duke and Ben Miles. Duke working his way back through the field after the problems in race number 1 and a little bit of traffic from the early stop in this race. Duke that looks like he's back to what will shake out as potentially 5th place, just ahead of Ben Miles. 4 to go in this race.
Yeah, Ben's got plenty of pace. We saw him do really, really well at where were we a fortnight ago? Twin Ring Matigi. Yeah, had a good little battle with his teammates there. Got plenty of airtime and plenty of on-track action for the Vermilion Motorsports trio. So he's really good pace. So he'll do his best to put plenty of pressure on Adrian Duke and try and regain that position here with 3 laps to go now, as Aaron Friend decides to make his compulsory pit transit, looking very, very slow. Looks slower than 60 k's an hour as he makes his way down the lane.
Racetrack opens up for the leaders. Stuart Vaughan from James Chastanoff, Jacob Wallmeyer and Brodie Shepherd having a little bit of a battle. Wallmeyer might have had a poor run through one of those corners, dropped back a little bit, and Brodie Shepherd is all over him, looking for a podium in the final race of the season. Puts Wallmeyer to a defensive position, tries to maybe sell a little bit of a dummy on the way in here as well. Not going to work on Jacob Wallmeyer. That looked like a pretty tidy line. Down the hill we go to the final corner. From Brodie Shepherd's perspective, he was a bit closer to the race leader a little bit earlier, running a tiny bit wide through the final corner, Stuart Vaughan, but using all of the curbing, all of the green concrete as well to maximise your run down the pit straight here. And what a great view. 2 and 2 and 2. The battles for the top 6 with 2 laps to go.
Yeah, Adrian Duke had a good recovery drive as well, considering he finished reasonably deep in the field after that little pit lane error in race number 1. Aaron Friend, after his trip down pit lane, came back out in 8th position. He is involved in a little battle with Nathan Verney. You see the different lines being taken through the double right-hand corner. One makes up time on the entry and the other one makes up time on the exit. So some positives, some negatives, but that little gap now down to about 0.2 of a second between these 2 cars on screen at the moment.
White flag for them in a moment. Stuart Vaughan and James Chastanoff out the final corner. One more lap. Vaughan looking at a clean sweep. Okayama short. Jacob Wallmeyer needing to defend from Brodie Shepherd on the final lap as well. Your top 2 get away to something of a lead. Around the outside of turn 1, Brodie Shepherd, brave, sometimes difficult to find grip out there. Then you get into 2 quick 90-degree right-handers, and there's no grip out there for Brodie Shepherd. He locks them all up, and 4th place is the best he'll be able to do. He'll come under a little bit of fire from Adrian Duke and Ben Miles to the end here as well. And for the race lead, Stuart Vaughan needs to defend from James Chastanoff, who's not afraid to have a go anywhere, anytime. Vaughan has a slide. This keeps Chastanoff in it, having a spin. Adrian Duke, Okayama short's been a one to forget for him. 2 corners to go for the race lead. Vaughan to take the championship in Season 3 of Ozicar Formula Ford in perfect style. He wins race 1 at Okayama Short. He's going to win race 2 at Okayama Short, and he's going to be the Ozicar Formula Ford champion.
Chastanoff 2nd and Wallmeyer 3rd. Brodie Shepherd crossing the line in 4th, and a good little battle there on the last lap between Adrian Duke and Ben Miles. And I think both of those drivers suffering some misfortune on the last lap. We might be able to get a quick understanding of how that all unfolded.
But Duke comes up on Brodie Shepherd, who had that half spin. He knows he needs to strike early while Shepherd gets back into it. Shepherd goes defensive. So now Adrian Duke's looking around the outside of the hairpin here. As Duke goes around the outside, he gets tagged by Ben Miles coming in hot. And then Dennis Hancock, he splits the middle as he arrives on the 2 slow cars. Still looking at Adrian Duke for the final 2 corners. In the final corner, taking a lot more speed through the final corner, maybe getting the gear shift a little bit better as well. Here comes Adrian Duke, and Hancock slows down too early.
Oh, I think Hancock might have potentially been out of fuel, because I believe he had some fuel issues in the earlier race as well.
Well, Stuart Vaughan has every reason to celebrate. Race 1 winner, Race 2 winner, round winner, Ozicar Formula Ford champion, and he still seems to have some fuel left. I'm not sure if he's going to have any tyres left though.
Yeah, creating plenty of smoke signals as a few cars in the background are celebrating the end of a wonderful season as well. It's been 6 long rounds that have gone rather quick as we've had plenty of on-track action. We've had flowing circuits, we've had fast circuits, we've had short, tight, twisty circuits, and Formula Ford Ozicar has delivered it all here in season 3. You can see the race results of our final race here after 20 laps. Stuart Vaughan taking the honours in the Daytona Dudes livery. James Chastanoff in car 42 as part of Locked On Racing is separated by less than 2 tenths as they cross the line. Then a little bit of a gap back to Jacob Wallmeyer, who came into this round sitting second in the championship. So a third place in both races tonight. He will be very happy with that.
Yeah. And then, Brody Shepherd, Adrian Duke, Dennis Hancock, Ben Miles, Aaron Friend, Nathan Verney and Ben Wheeler as our top 10 in race number 2. We had Ira Felberg, John Snell and Darren Lesieux. Warren Henry, 2 laps down. Sean Doyle, 5 laps down. We saw some of that contact. Again, I don't think he's going to be too miffed after today, though. And Jordan Dakin had a couple of early spins and threw in the towel at some point. Our podium drivers are coming around. And Jacob Wallmeyer. Jacob took third and third across both races, and in that second one, had a really great chance to fight against for the front.
Yeah, g'day, gentlemen. That second race was something else, wasn't it? That was really good. Sort of really didn't want to get too mixed up with James and Stuart there, but yeah, enjoyed it.
Short lap, only a couple of corners, but some of them very difficult to master. And it seemed like, to be up front, you've basically got to get every corner perfect every time.
Yeah, it's definitely a really sort of although simple on paper, I suppose, it's a pretty technical sort of a track. And I think as well with how taily the Formula Fords are off throttle, you got to really kind of use that to make speed around here. And I sort of really enjoy that sort of driving style. So I think it suits me a little bit, but definitely still got a bit of work to get on Stuart's level, that's for sure.
Good results and plenty of time on screen, and with some luck, we'll see you again for season 4.
Sounds good, gentlemen. Wouldn't miss it.
Jacob Wallmeyer finishing third and third. James Chastanoff finishing second and second. James is with Jason.
And we've got the driver of car number 42. Second isn't a bad place to be, although some have said it is the first loser, as I heard earlier in the week. So, James, tonight, after a fortnight off when you were out of action, you've come back with plenty of speed and you've managed to snag yourself a couple of podiums.
Yeah, thanks, Stuart. It took you a second there to get booted up for the sounds of it. Look, first loser, not bad for bar number 2. So, I'll take that. Pretty good racing in the second race. Only regret is if we didn't do it in the first one, to be honest.
Well, there was plenty of action in the first one, and it came down to the last lap with a little bit of contact being made between yourself and Stuart Vaughan, with the wheels interlocking there with a couple of corners to go. So, rather lucky to escape that without too much damage, and it looks like you redressed the position on our coverage. So, I presume that's what happened and how things unfolded.
Yeah, that's pretty much exactly what happened. I'm just glad we didn't damage the cars. I don't think we damaged the cars at all. So, just got a little deep into that corner. I was sort of thinking of having a look. I wasn't too sure, and then I think I just broke a bit too late. So I wasn't even sure if I was going to go for the move. I didn't think I was really close enough, but anyway, it happened, and just redressed it back. It's the only fair thing to do. So fair play to him.
So we're being a championship contender earlier in the season and then missing a race at Twin Ring Matigi. You're effectively out of it for this one, but obviously qualifying on the front row of the grid tonight, plenty of speed, and managed to carry that through race number 1 and 2 this evening. So we've managed to lead with a 3-way battle there at one point with yourself, Stuart, and Jacob. So plenty of on-track action and plenty happening around you.
Yeah, it was a pretty good battle. It's not too bad missing around in this series, seeing as there's a drop round. So it didn't really affect my championship too much. But I think Stuart Vaughan, he racked up the wins early anyway. So I don't think there was really too much to gain. And Twin Ring's not a particularly good circuit for me anyway. So yeah, no, I think the way the championship sort of rolled out is pretty much the way it was going to go other way. So yeah, pretty happy with how it all went.
So you've had some success here in Ozicar in the past. We have already looked at the race format, or the calendar, I should say, for season number 4, and we're going on a European tour next season. Is there a talk that the team Chastanoff might be back to challenge for another championship?
Yeah, see how we go. I've done a lot of seasons of Ozicar back to back, so yeah, see what the workload is next year. But yeah, every time I think, oh, maybe I'll take a break next season, the track listing gets released, and I look at it and go, oh, better sign up. It's too good to miss. So yeah, Ira puts on a good show. So yeah, it's pretty hard to not keep coming back. And yeah, it's just a good fun league, and especially races towards the end of the season when you've got the crop of drivers all basically with the season's experience with each other, all being able to race the way that we did in the last race. Yeah, I think that was a good demonstration of how good the racing can be in this series, and yeah, that's what keeps me coming back.
Well, congratulations, 2 second places tonight. Good way to finish the championship and the season. Plenty of speed on hand, and hopefully, fingers crossed, that track listing that we spoke about a little earlier will be enough to entice you back, and you can carry on that Stuart Vaughan Chastanoff Walmart battle in season 4.
Yeah, it should be good. Stuart's hard to beat, so it's a good challenge to look forward to.
All right, mate, congratulations, and fingers crossed we'll see you next season. Thanks for dropping by.
Yeah, cheers guys. Thanks for the season, and thanks for all the coverage and all that. And yeah, thanks to Ira as well for all the work that he puts in, and everyone else who raced for the season. Awesome fun. Thanks, guys.
Second place for James Chastanoff. For now, fair to call him the man of the hour. Race 1 winner, Race 2 winner, Ozicar Formula Ford champion, Stuart Vaughan.
Yeah, thanks, boys. It was a tough little battle in that last race. Tell you what.
Yeah, let's go back to the start, back to basics, back to the simplistic stuff. Race 1, interesting little strategy from you to take that stop kind of in the midway. Some would call that a bit of a no man's land. We see a lot of other drivers either stop early or stop late, but it paid off.
Yeah, I didn't have the fastest lap, so I was hoping to join in behind somebody and get a little bit of a tow to get a few extra tenths. But no, I wasn't sure if it was going to work out, but I mean, it was probably a bit closer than I actually expected. I don't know what James's times were, but he came out pretty close. So, and what happened to Adrian? Because he was there too, and then he dropped off.
Great question. Slips my mind at the moment, but
Lane penalty.
That would be it.
Yeah, speeding on the pit exit, so just getting up to speed a little too quickly before those green cones. It's second time here for us at Okayama in this season, and I think everyone's worked out that pit entry a little bit better. Not perfect, but better.
Yeah, certainly. I don't mind this little layout. It's pretty much like a go-kart track for these things, and I think the length of the straights and the sort of corners that lead into each other perfectly suit them for some good racing, as you just saw.
We're watching some pictures of your significant burnout after the championship win. I mean, a trophy coming your way. You got a spot for it?
I think I'll have to make some room because these other two for second place last year taken up a bit of space. But I think these cars need a bit more horsepower as well. It's pretty hard to do a donut unless you're in the grass.
I think second place can go in the bin. It's winners only.
Yeah, sounds about right, mate.
So, yeah, another great season for you. Consistency paying off, but also speed at the whole variety of tracks we went to. I've been on the phone with Matt Damon to play your part in the new upcoming film, The Vaughan Legacy.
Sounds good, man. Haven't been in a film before, so bring it on.
And is it going to be a championship defense when season 4 of Ozicar Formula Ford kicks off in the new year?
Yeah, I'm not too sure, man. I'll think about it. Otherwise, I might try and see if I can play a bit of a supporting role to Ira and maybe a few of the other drivers as well. So we'll see what happens. But yeah, I'd still love to be involved in Ozicar, that's for sure. It's a great little community Ira's built up, and him and Nathan that do all the work every week to do all the points and get us out there is fantastic. And obviously having you guys broadcast is even better to sort of keep those memories alive. So appreciate it.
There's a couple drivers saying, I'll think about how I go, what I commit for season 4, but you've got that little bit of a break. You know, you'll have Chrissy, you'll have New Year's, and by January coming around, you'll be fiending for a little bit of Ozicar Formula Ford action.
Yeah, you're probably right, mate. Usually when a bit of a break happens, you get pretty keen. So we'll see what happens, man. But yeah.
You're a multiple race winner. You're the championship now. It's number 1 next to your name. Anyone you want to thank?
I'll just thank all the competitors for turning up each week, because I wouldn't be much of a champion if we didn't have a field to compete against. So all the guys that consistently turn up week on week, really do appreciate it, and look forward to seeing you guys all in Ozicar next time.
Cheers and congratulations.
Thanks, boys.
Jason, there's only one man we need to speak to now as we close out the championship, and I often call him Mr. Ozicar. How about you have a chat with Ira?
And welcome to the commentary box. Ozicar owner, league runner, and all-round Mr. Nice Guy, Ira Philberg.
Don't know about the nice guy, but anyway, yeah, thank you. Thanks for having me. Another year gone. Wow. Goes fast, eh?
Yeah, we made that comment during the broadcast. 6 weeks have flown by through this Japanese Oriental tour, but the track selection was a bit of a fan favourite amongst all the drivers, and Okayama Short proved to be a really good choice to round out the season here in round number 6 tonight.
Yeah, we were just talking about that actually in the green room with the other guys there, and saying how, you know, there was a couple of Japanese tracks, Scuba, I kind of had to throw in there just because I didn't have another one. And that track, in my opinion, it's pretty good, but it's just a little bit too narrow. And, you know, Okayama is just that couple meters wider, and even though it's kind of short, you know, up and back kind of thing, it makes a heaps of difference in these cars. So yeah, it was they're just great tracks. You know, Japanese know how to make good tracks, and they provided good racing. So yeah, no complaints from any of the drivers. Yeah.
So we have a look forward towards season 4, which David alluded a little bit earlier. We'll be back after the Christmas New Year break, and we jump on ship and we travel all the way across to Europe with a really interesting circuit choice, starting with Spa-Francorchamps in round number 1.
Yeah, it's same thing. You know, Jason, I like to mix it up and keep people interested. And yeah, completely different tracks for this season. And I found it quite interesting that in testing, like on the Grand Prix tracks, even though they're big and you think, oh, they're going to get away, you know, it's actually easier to follow in some ways because you're not applying, you know, that much pedal feedback, if you know, so to speak. You know, some of those corners at Spa, man, you just like flipping or holding it flat. So, and then you got the big long straight. So yeah, Grand Prix tracks completely different, and some really fun tracks in there. A small one, obviously, Brands Hatch Indy, but yeah, the Moto Lane Aragon. We're going to do the outer. I don't know if you've seen that track, but it's got a big, massive, long straight, and then you basically just kick it back a gear and stand on the gas for a big corner coming back onto the straight, and then a real fun uphill windy section. And then yeah, Rudskogen, that's kind of, we haven't been there before. And those and Motor Oregon, I debated because like people have to buy them, but I think if you're doing the series, most people will have those tracks anyway. Yeah, and then Red Bull Ring, that's always, especially in open wheel cars, there's something about that place. It's always good. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to coming back. And then obviously the Tin Top Cup, that's easy for me to say, is coming up just the week before Christmas. So yeah, keep an eye on socials. That anyone watching iRacing on Facebook, iRacing Australia, and also Ozicar. And I've got something this time actually, because with the Tin Top Cup, I always try to like do something a bit different to keep it interesting again. And I've learnt over the last few years, because this will be number 5. And I've played around with the BOP, and it's really interesting actually, and we won't go into all that, but one thing I've learned is that you can't beat just having cars that do pretty much exactly the same lap time. So I've got 3 cars that aren't really a class, and that's the Toyota 86, the Renault Clio, and the Ford Mustang, not the supercar, but the other one. And they pretty much, I've got to do some more testing with other people, but yeah, it's pretty cool because they pretty much do exactly the same lap time. The Mustang's maybe a tad quicker, but when you change the tires on that car, it's only 2 at a time. They jack it up, so it sits still for 10 seconds longer at the stop. So I think it will actually be a really cool race. So yeah, that's what's coming up.
Yeah, so while the Formula cars have a bit of a break, there will be still plenty of Aussie car action available for drivers to get involved with over that festive season. So just keep an eye on the Ozicar.net website. Reach out to Ira if you have any questions or queries, but definitely something I've been involved in the past, and a good way to spend your Christmas break as we round out the year.
Hey, Ira, just tell us quickly,
Yes.
because we showed the video of Sean Doyle winning the Formula Ford
yes.
driving experience.
Yes. What would you like to know? Sorry.
Oh, just tell everyone about that and how lucky Sean Doyle is.
Yeah, so he's so every year we give away. So actually, I was going to message Thomas the other day because I don't think he's done his laps yet. But yeah, two of the locked on guys, Pete and Callum, they went and did it last year. So yeah, we put everyone in the draw and we give away some laps because we're racing the Formula Ford, and I'd like to give people the experience. So yeah, he's and couldn't have gone to a more worthy winner. I reckon. I was pretty happy when I saw that name come up, and so yeah, hopefully he'll get down there sometime in the next little while and do some laps. And you never know, because look, honestly, I keep figuring, right, if I just do this every year or twice a year, and I just keep putting people in race cars, eventually someone will get into it, and that's, if I can just get one person to do something one day, I'll be a happy camper.
All right, we've been through, what's coming up. We looked back on this season that we've had, and congratulations to the championship winner. Is there anything else that the people out there need to know as we sign off season 3 of Ozicar Formula Ford?
Yeah, obviously just want to thank all you guys, obviously Dave, Jason and Jay behind the scenes, because without you guys we literally don't have a show, and you are what makes us look good, and it's what everybody tunes in for every week. So yeah, and we really appreciate the effort because we know you guys go above and beyond. And then also the sponsors, Sim Racing Leagues, which takes care of the website, Prestige Trophy, which does the trophies, No Social Hate, and just Ozicar. So yeah, just thanks again, everyone. And I said in the driver's briefing in there, like, how honestly can't put into words how much I appreciate, what everybody does, and I get an incredible amount of satisfaction out of my Monday night racing. So yeah, just mad respect. Thanks everyone. I really appreciate it. Cheers.
Thanks, Ira. That's Ozicar Formula Ford Season 3 done. Now congratulations go to Stuart Vaughan, double race winner tonight, and now the Season 3 champion. And also, best of luck to Sean Doyle as he's won the Formula Ford driving experience. As Ira said, this championship and the broadcast brought to you by Prestige Trophy Badge and Engraving, Sim Racing Leagues, Locked On Lads, and in support of the No Social Hate campaign. We look forward to you joining us again on Simspeed when Season 4 kicks off in the new year. And from myself, Jason and Jay, we'll see you then.